TikTok keeps recommending me this page that's run by a daycare that I used to work for, and I'm nosy, so I finally went ahead and checked it out. Quick background. This was the last school that I worked at before I was like, you know what? I'm done with teaching. I'm going to go work somewhere else the first time before I came back in education. So I started working there like I think July, August of 2022, and ended up leaving in January 2023 because there was an RSV breakout and I was sick for a whole month. And it was again one of those situations where it was just like the owner or the administrators seemingly didn't care that I was just very ill and did not and could not be active watching a bunch of preschoolers. My class numbers had also just been increased because they had just fired, or sorry, they pushed another teacher to quit because she just wasn't vibing with everyone else. There was like this weird Heather's Mean Girls kind of atmosphere going on with like the OG teachers who had started with the school when it opened the previous year and the owner. And I tried my best to not get involved. I tried my best in any place to not get involved because I already went through high school. Anyway, from looking at their TikTok account and looking at their brand spanking new website, I see that they've opened a second facility. They went ahead and raised the pay to a staggering 18 an hour, up from 15 from when I was working there. And none of the original staff works there anymore. The second facility, that's great. Childcare is a necessity and everyone needs that. Bumping up the pay to 18 an hour was definitely necessary. It was 15 when I started there, and I actually had to negotiate for my pay to be 16 an hour because I had a bachelor's degree, was working on my master's, and had a previous 2 years of educational experience. But of course, when you're paying your original staff 15 an hour for 3-4 years, of course, opening a second facility won't be that hard. But anyway, all that is great. The None of the original staff being there was honestly really shocking to me because again, there was like this Heather's Mean Girls mentality group dynamic going on with like the OG teachers and the owner, and they all, like most schools and most toxic workplaces, wanted to give off the air of, oh, we're colleagues, but we're also family. We fight like family. We work together like family. You can also cut family off and never speak to them again, actually, apparently. I don't know. All that to say that it's just really comforting to see that so many of the former places that I worked at that really screwed me over aren't doing great. Because when you know how the sausage is made in terms of how a business is run and all the multiple shady practices that are going on behind the scenes in order to keep them afloat, you don't care what their social media manager is posting online to give off the air that they're majorly successful because the proof is in the pudding for me.